You all can hear me, yeah? Sorry for the technical problems now. Suddenly I restart. Okay. And then I need time to on my lecture notes some more. So slow. Everything so slow. Okay. So for today, we're going to cover chapter 7. That's 7. We have two parts for the chapter 7. We have 7.1 for the list box and also the combo box. 7.2 is on the printing. Okay, so today we only cover 7.1. Okay. So I'll present the screen now. Can you all hear me clearly today?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. So for you can see the slides now, chapter 7.1, list and loop, and also for the combo box, we're gonna learn this in this chapter. Okay. So the object, yes.
No presentation yet.
I present my entire screen just now. Maybe I need some time. Hold on, let me check. Okay. What about now?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So for this chapter, for the list box, combo box, and also we need to learn a bit on this loop. Okay, for loop. The concept is still the same. So the objective of this chapter here, you're going to create and use the list boxes and combo box. Okay, hold on, let me adjust to the laser pointer first. Okay, and differentiate among the available type of combo boxes. Few types there. Enter items into list boxes. How you're going to enter the item one by one into the item collections in the properties window. How you can add the items, you can remove the items in the list during the runtime using the code. Okay, and determine which item in a list is selected. Which one is the selected index for the item set currently being active. Okay, use the item count property to determine the number of items in a list. You can also count how many items are already selected or already being added into the list. Okay, and also to display a selected item from a list. Okay, you're going to display it from one combo box. Maybe you select a certain item, you want to add this item into a certain list later on. Okay, so you're gonna use the do loops for next statement to iterate through a loop. You're going to have the looping and terminate a loop with the exit statement. How you're going to terminate a certain loop. Skip to the next iterations of a loop by using continue statement. So seems like all these are actually the concept is still the same like what you have done in C previously. Okay, the continue as well. So for list boxes and combo boxes, for this part we have most of the same properties and operating in a similar fashion for list box and combo box. So then exceptions is that combo box control here we have drop down style property. Okay, this is something which is different between the combo box and also the list box. Combo box we have the drop down style property. So provide the user with a list of items to select from. You give a list for the user. This is actually to minimize user entry error. Okay, the more you ask for the user to key in, the more difficult you actually get the correct data sometimes. So to avoid this kind of, to minimize this kind of error, that will be good for you to get ready a list for the user, just to select from that list. Okay, so you also need to apply this to your assignment later on to avoid lesser user input. Okay, so user, we have many different type of user, so they can come up with their own way for any kind of input. Okay, so to avoid all this kind of different answer or different input by the user, it's good for you to use the list box or the combo box. So various styles here, choose based on the space available, need to select from the existing list and need to add to a list. Prefix for the list box, we have LST. For the combo box, we have CBO. Okay. So these are the list boxes and combo boxes. Okay. So you can just take a look what are the different type of the list box and also the combo box. Okay. So the list item collections. So list of the item in the list box or the combo box, we call as a collections. You have a collections of items. What are the items that you have? Let's say you have a product list there. Okay, so to avoid the user to key in maybe uppercase, lowercase, or sometimes they put in all uppercase, sometimes they put in all lowercase, or sometimes they put in a mixture. They put it without a space or no space, and different type. So you have to list down all these products. Let's say you're selling different type of something pen maybe. Okay, you have so many different pens. Okay, so you just list down all these items in the list in this collection so that user can easily select from the list instead of key in, type in. So BB collections are objects that have properties and methods that allow adding item, removing item, referring to individual elements, which item, counting how many items in the list, clearing the collections. You can remove, you can clear everything. So filling a list, two methods here to fill a list here. We can use the properties window, design times during your design, design, user design windows. Okay, from there, the properties windows, you can set the collections. Another one using code. Okay, make sure you know how to use the code because exam may ask you to write all this code. Okay, you can adjust already the properties in the exam, but you need to know how to write the code. So using the code during runtime for this items.add, items.insert. Okay, so we look into what's different between these items.add and also items.insert. For the items.add method here, used to add new items to the list at runtime, add new item. So the general form here, general syntax here, what's the object that you name for this list box or the combo? Okay, then items.add, what's the value that you want to add in? So for example, here you have a list box for this list schools. So when you want to add a new item for this list school, just put list schools.items.add. What's the value there? Okay. Or you can again ask for the user key in if they may have to add in something new by their own. Okay, by their own. Then list schools, in this case, example only, items.add txt schools.text. So which means that you have a text box here to collect what's the user key in inside the text box. the tax day, you're going to add into this list later on. Okay. So same goes to another example here. You can also add in, what's the combo box now? The text inside the combo box. Maybe you are actually using a combo box. Later, combo box, you have a list of text here. And from there, you select the text from there. And you want to add this into another list. You can do that as well. So from one list, you add a certain item from list 1 to list 2, combo 1 to list 1, something like that. There is no fix. You must deal with collections only. Okay? You must select from the list, and then you must deal with the design time only, but runtime also you can ask for some new additions for these items into the box, into the list or the combo box. So for this case, combo box, items are add string major. So it's actually you add in some string that you put at the design, at the runtime, during the runtime, so that you want to add in into this CBO combo box majors later on as one of the items later on. Okay, using the item.insert method. The different now. When you are using item.insert, you are actually set it add in into a specific locations. Okay, make sure you know the index positions in the collections. You want to add in index 5, index 3, on what value, something like that. Okay, so the general form here, object again, your list box or the combo box, items.insert now. So whenever you deal with items.insert, make sure you know the index positions. From the example here, so I want to put in this value, item value, car college, in the first place, as the first element here, which is index positions 0, index 0, always the first. So I want to put this value in the first, as the first collections, the first item in this collections. So for this case, CBO majors.items.insert 1, CBO majors.text. So you want to put the text that came by the user maybe later on, okay, as the second element or second item, which is index 1 here, okay, in this CBO measure combo box. Okay. So this is how you can explain what is the meaning of every single line there. Okay. Select index property. So index number of currently selected items is stored in the selected index property, which means the one that you are selecting now. The one that which is darker. Normally when you select certain items, it will be darker. So that will be the selected index. Okay. So if no list item is selected, then your selected index property will always be -1. Okay. If none selected. So use to select an item in list or deselect all items in code. So to make a single item in a list box appear selected, so you set the selected index property. So in this case, let's say you want to know which index now. Okay, integer index. For this list coffee, selected index is on which index now? Let's say user click on second item in the combo box, in the list box in this case, then your selected index will be 1, something like that. Okay. Item count. Okay, items.count property can use to determine the number of items in the list. let's say just now we have a demo later on. So you select from a combo box. So from there you want to add into a list box. And again, from the list box there, you can count how many items that you have added to this list. Okay, so item count is always one more than the highest possible selected index, because indexes begin with 0. And again, always remember that your index always starts with 0. Okay, so the count always plus 1. Always 1 more than the highest selected index. So always plus 1. When your index is selected index, you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then your count always plus 1, that will be 5. You have 5 items inside this combo box. Okay. So always remember also count always plus 1. So referencing the items collections, use the index of the item to reference the specific item in the collections. So first item in the list is always with index position 0, 0. So as the index of the first item is 0, that's the highest index in the list is equal to items dot count minus 1. The index, the highest index always your count minus 1. It's basically having the same meaning of this. Item dot count always plus 1 of your highest index. So your highest index here always, the last index here always count minus 1. Same meaning. So replace the previous content here. If you have the content inside the any list or combo box already, but now you want to replace it. Okay, you want to consider you want to assign a new value to a certain positions content, the list or the combo box. You can do that as well. So just by using the equals which index you want to update to the latest content now. Okay, so in this case, I want to update a new content, XYZ college, to this item with index 5. So just come up with the object, items, which index, then with the new content value, item value. Okay, to retrieve the selected element of a list, you just need to come up with which one selected index, which one is actually selected by the user now, from which list or which combo box now. Okay, then you want to find out what is the integer index for that particular selected item now. Then you want to come up with the string of that particular selected index. At first you get the index first, and later on you get the items value. In this case, the string the string of this selected index. Okay, and also we can retrieve from the combo box combo college. In this case, the text equals to label. So you're going to put the text that appears at the combo box, the text. Then it will be assigned as the text as for this label college. Another control here. You're going to assign into another control. Okay. So remove an item from a list. Let's say it's no more using that item here. You're not having that particular item anymore. You just want to throw it. You can remove that particular item by index from the list. And the item, this one is actually for the, by index is actually for remove add. Okay. But by using the items not remove, you actually remove it by specifying the text. So two different ways as well. Okay. General form here, again, start with object. What's the object that you want to deal with now? Dot items dot remove at. When it is about remove at, make sure you know the index positions. Okay. So for example, here you want to remove the item in position 0. This is straightforward. List name that items that remove at 0. I want to remove the first item in this listing. Okay. How about to remove the current selected item? The current selected item, you must make sure you know what's the selected index there. Okay. So from there, you got the index, and from there, you got the positions already to remove. Okay, remove at 0 or 1. If currently at 2, then remove at 2. Okay. So all this can be applied. So if you only set it to 0 here, which means that it's fixed already. The first one will always be removed. But if you make it more flexible always we want flexible. So when a user select, whichever user select to be removed later on, okay, so that will be good for you to come up with this instead of you fix it. Okay. It's only that if the questions come out asking you to remove the items for the first item in the list, yeah, you can straight away. But if the questions ask for the flexibility to remove whatsoever user selected, then go for this. Okay. So item dot remove method, you remove by specifying the text. You need to know which text. So general form here, object still the same. Object dot items dot remove now. Text string can be a fixed string, or again you just get whatsoever display text at a text box or at a combo box, or whatsoever text appears at the list box that selected by the user as well. You can do that as well. Okay, so these are the example. CBO schools the items not removed. Whatsoever text happen appears as a text in this text. Here's the school text box. And now this one is to remove the currently selected item. So whatever selected item in the combo box, now combo copy, combo box, the text happen there will be removed. So clearing a list here. Use the items.clear method to clear all the items and empty a combo box or list box. So be careful if you said you want to totally clear everything inside it. I just want to make a new one. I don't want this anymore. I want to clear all the items. Then okay, you can just object.items.clear. The list box.items.clear. Combo box.items.clear. So all the items will be clear, and your combo box and list box now is actually with empty, nothing there. And again, what I mentioned just now, be careful. Think twice whenever you need to use that clear. Whether you really want to clear everything or you only want to remove something. Okay. So far so good. Items add, items insert, remove add, remove items count, items clear.
It's only work for the list.
List and combo box.
List and combo box only.
This one is the control for the list and combo box. Okay. List and combo box, you can do a lot of things already there. And then previously you have this radio button, box. You can apply all those things into your assignment. And this list and combo box is also one of it. Any other questions?
So far,
No. Okay, list box and combo box event. So the controls that you have, always you have the event. What are the events that we have for this list box and combo box? For the button, normally we have button click. So for the list box and the combo box, normally we have this text change. Because this depends on what the user select on whatsoever content that they want. So that will be text change event. Okay. So occurs when the user type text into combo box. But the list box here does not have text change event. Okay, be careful. So enter event fired when a control receive focus. Leave event fired when a control loses focus. So which means that it's active when the control receive focus. That will be the enter event. When the control loses the focus, if it moves to some other things, then your leave events, you can set something on that. Okay. Oh, demo file here. I hope my demo file already opened up because too slow just now. So you all open up your demo file, the combo and list boxes on this chapter 7. Okay. Combo and list boxes. This the one. Yeah, combo and list boxes. Oops. So you're gonna deal with you're gonna play around with this form, combo, and list box. Not baby. Okay. So you can check through the property of every single control here. Slow. Okay. And the most important part, please check the code. Check the code view as well. For this, when you do add new, or when you do add to list. Okay. So when it is add new, click whatever item list, the text happens at the combo box item list will be added into this combo box item list again. So whatever list down here, later, oops, click some. Okay, whatever text that user key in later on here, once you click on the add new, this content, the items here will be listed under this combo box later on. When you click on the add to list, whatever text selected, okay, for this combo box item list, okay, it will be added to the list box, which is this one later on. Okay, so that's a view and list in this case. You can remove, you can clear, you can count. So when it's about remove, you do a check, see whether any item is actually selected now. If that's -1, which means that you have nothing selected now. No item selected now. If yes, you have a certain item selected now, make sure you know the text. Okay, I want to remove at which index for this list. Okay. So this one is actually to remove whatsoever item listed here, which one selected. Once I click remove, that particular item will be removed from this list, from this list box. Okay. To clear, this for the clear is clear everything. So that's why be careful when you clear what. So now in this case, you want to clear everything inside this list box, which is this. Once I click here, everything here will come. Okay. So for the count, when I click on the count, straight away it gives me how many items in the list box now by using items.count. How many items that has been added into this list later. So you have this run it. I won't run it because it takes up so long. Okay, please try it. Okay, did you try? Did you try?
Yeah. Still loading.
Oh, okay. So for every table that we have gone through, please also check the coding part. Otherwise, definitely you will miss out something, some useful tips. The demo files given to the students is actually to help the students to get more ideas, get some tips on doing or dealing with different type of controls in your VB environment. So please utilize it. Okay. And then we have the demo file given to the students. So after you try it, please let me know.
Tried.
How about Farah and Kelvin? Yeah. More times on that?
Yeah, already.
Already, yeah? So okay, yeah? This part you are clear with it, Okay. Farah also, Is Farah with us?
His mic broken.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So you've tried already, Farah? So we move on to the do loop. So we use this loop when the exact number of iterations is unknown. And you don't know, you need to look for how many times. So do loop terminates are based on specified conditions. You need some conditions to stop it. Otherwise, it will keep looping until you don't know when. Executions of the loop continues while the conditions is true, or until condition is true. And it is always true, it will always loop. That's why if you don't have a conditions there, make it fast, it won't stop. The concept is the same like what you have learned in programming. The conditions can be placed at the top or the bottom of the loop. For this exit do, always use it to exit the loop. Continue, you use to skip it, and to the next iterations of the loop. You can skip. So the general form here, do, condition, statement, loop, or do, statement, conditions. Okay, so you can see that even though you are having the same thing, but when you place it at the different parts, you're gonna have different result, slightly different. Okay, so this is on the pretest versus post-test for this part. If you call the conditions first, only statement, or statement first, then only conditions, that will be the pretest, post-test. Okay, so the pretest, you test it first. Conditions put at the top of the loop. You have the conditions to fulfill first. If that's true, then only you go for the statement. Okay, so loop may never be executed since tested before running. But post-test, you do one time, then only you test for the conditions. So this loop will always be executed at least once. So this post-test, you always have one thing, at least have one thing. Because the conditions fulfill or not, true or not, you're going to run your statement for one time. Then only you do your testing. So that's the difference between pre-test and post-test. That's your while loop and do while loop that you have learned in programming. So the Boolean type, data type, Boolean here, Boolean is only with either true or false. So many programmers here refer to the Boolean variables as switches or flag. So I'm not sure whether you ever used any flag previously. Still remember what is a flag? Found equals 1, found equals 0. You have a flag there to show whether it's on or off. If that's on, you're doing what? Whether when it is off, you're doing what? Or print out what kind of message when it is on, when it is off. Okay, so like a control as well, switches and flags. Okay, switches always on or off, flag always up or down. It's only true or false actually, 1 or 0. So for next loops, this one is to use to repeat the statement in a specific number of times. You know how many times you want to loop. Then you can use for. That's the for loop in programming. Same. So when you have a do while loop or the while loop, you don't know how many times until the conditions is not met. Then you stop, terminate. But for this for loop, make sure you know the number of times you want to loop. So uses a numeric counter variable called loop index to determine the number of times the segment inside the loop will execute. Okay, you use a count. Like last time when you do your programming, when you have a for loop for 4 inside your bracket, I equals 0, I less than 10, I plus plus, or I plus 2, I minus minus. If you are doing I equals to 10 and I is greater than 0, then it should be I minus minus, something like that. Okay, still the same concept here. So step value can be included to specify the incrementing amount to the loop index. Step value can be a negative number as well. Your I++ or I minus. Okay, that's your loop index, the step value here. Again, for the exit for, that will be exit your for loop. Continue for, that will be used again to skip to the next iterations of your loop. So the general form here, you have the for, what's the loop index, equals to initial value, always 0, okay, always 0, to what's the test value that you want to test. Okay, the step increment here, in this case, is step 2. It will go step 2, 2 steps later on. Then what's the statement? If still inside this loop, still fulfilling, then what's the statement that inside the loop that you want to do? Then next, int index. So next will be 2, integer index equals 2, then do whatsoever inside and so on. Keep looping until your, how many times you loop? Until 0 to 10, step 2, 5 times. Okay. Oh, the demo again, looping. Okay, open up your demo file again, another demo file here, for loop. That's another folder there, for loop. Basically, you have the same thing. It's only that now you have some, apply some, what we call that, for. Okay. You apply some looping there lah, in your coding. You check on the check duplicate item. And also for the Boolean, you want to find out whether the text key in by the user, whether it's duplicate from the list or not. Okay. So the functions here lah. You check on these functions, check duplicate items functions. Okay. So if the control input name equals to combo box item list, because here you need to know you are now checking. Hold on, here. You basically what these functions do is actually to check later on if the user key in any values here. And remember the values should be monitor, mouse, all these things. So if the key monitor again, when they click on the add new, previously if you don't have this check duplicate items functions, then you may add in the same items again into the same list. But now you have this check duplicate functions, and it will check whether these items is already listed under this combo box or not. Like keyboard, I key in keyboard here. Then when I click on add new, if this keyboard is already happened, is already listed in this combo box previously, it won't be added into the list. Okay. Well, whether hold on, see whether any message come up. It will say duplicate item found if that's a duplicate item. Okay. So the same goes to this selected item here, list box here. If you want to add the same items, let's say you add in already keyboard into this list, and you select keyboard again, add to list into this list again, then it will mention duplicate item selected. Because with this check duplicate functions for combo box and also the list box lah. combo box and also the list box. You check both this day whether any duplicate items or not. Using this one. The item is the same with the value. Using the for loop, you need to know how many items listed inside the combo box and also inside the list box. If the user select the combo box, do something on the combo box, the item count here will give a number count here and a figure here to the for loop to check. So now if dealing with the combo box, it will get the string items from the combo box. If now dealing with the list box, it will get the string item from the list box for you to do checking. It's Boolean to check whether that's true or false. So your check duplicate item will get the true or false only lah. Return as Boolean. Functions to call it the add new and also add to list. Okay. So if that's duplicate, definitely it will show this duplicate item file. Add new, add to list should be here. Add to list also is doing the same thing. Only that you need to know which list that you want to compare now with what value. Which list now. Okay. And then you want to compare the combo box list with the value here, or you want to compare the list box value, the items value here, with the combo box item selected here. Okay. So you all play around with it again.
When I keep pressing add new, you just keep saying duplicate.
You key in anything. You don't key in anything.
Let me double check. So when the box is empty, right, then I pick keyboard and then I press add new. It says duplicate item found.
Yeah, because you already have keyboard name.
No. I didn't add it. The box is empty. I just select.
You just select.
I just select the keyboard and then I click add new, but
select it.
No, I just select it only. But and then I click add new. But it says duplicate item found.
How about you try to in something and see?
What?
In something on this box here. You key in something.
Oh, when I key in something, it's fine.
Okay.
No problem.
Because maybe no checking, our function is only checking on the duplicate. So you may need to have more detailed functions to check all these, to come out with all these type of validations.
Never mind. Add new is adding new items to the list only, not
to this combo box list.
Not the selected items. Okay.
The selected item.
Not the selected.
Yeah, selected item you have to select and then add to list. It will show here.
Okay, understand already.
Alright, and well, make sure you check as well. You play around with the demo as well.
Okay.
So please let me know if you've done already for this demo. Check through the coding as well. All this coding is actually really helpful for you.
So this form has a different code than the previous one?
It's not the different code, but you add in more. You're dealing with the same form. Okay, you add in more functions to this form. Same thing. Previously, you don't have any Boolean, you don't check for any kind of validations. Check duplicate items. But now you add in more. Okay? Mm. Okay? Especially you check through the these functions. Okay. So you can apply all these type of functions to reuse it in other project, in other application. Click on if you have a page or a form which is also all this you want to add a new item. Okay, add a new list, add the item to the list. You can actually just recycle this form. Recycle and then apply it to whatever you are doing now, bus ticketing system. Okay. Any questions? Let me see the meet. Let me see. Okay, so far so good, huh? So we move on. Okay, we move on.
These things don't need try and catch.
This thing,
Or these-
because you have lesser user input already now. You see, by using the list box and combo box, I can easily select from the list. It's only whether I really need to key in something. I really need to key in something. Then you ask them to add. But for the previous what you have done, mostly you ask for the user input to have a user interactions in that way. You want to get a lot of user enter user data from keyboard. That will be good. You always have try catch to catch whatsoever error that may be done by the user. But when you have a list, you have combo box for them to select their data from the list that ready there. This kind of errors can be minimized a lot already. Okay, so apply this because the lesser user key in, that will be the best. Because you're going to avoid a lot of every errors from the user. Okay, Kevin?
Okay.
So apply this sign to your assignment later on. Yeah. So can we move on? Okay.
Okay.
So selecting the entry in a text box. So this is making a system more user-friendly. Everything that you need to create, you need to design. It's actually for the user. As you all attended the talk that day. Okay. Is it your clients, what the clients did? You need to really need to care about what the user needs. It's not what you need. Okay, communicate. So making a system more user-friendly. For example, here, if a text box file in validation, select the text. Okay, select all methods. Use to select the entry in a text box. So again, another example here, you use the event, the text name entered. So select all existing text. which is text name. This is the text box that you have created in the text box in the form. So you just put select all. Just put select all. Then it will select all the text display. Okay. Basically, this one not much. Select all method. Just to select the entry. Select the entry in your text box. Okay, so this is what you have learned in this chapter, and I hope that now you have some idea on this list box and also the combo box. And then you can actually easily get this control from the toolbox. You can just drag it and differentiate among the available type of combo box. Okay. Enter item. How to enter item into the list box using the item collections in the properties window. This one is actually you can check the collections property. Yeah. Okay. So you can put in more. This one is actually during the design time. Okay, design time for the collections. So you just check by selecting the combo box to your property, then collections. You can see a list of collections under this for this combo box already. So this one is for the design time that you use the property window for you to enter or to adjust whatsoever items in the box, in the list box or the combo box. So you can also add and remove and make sure you know how to add and remove the items in the list during the runtime recording. Okay, to use different method when you need to use the add, when you need to use the insert, when you need to use remove add, when you need to use remove this and that So determine which item in a list is selected. This is selected index, and use the items count to determine the number of items in a list. You want to find out how many items already been added into the product list, maybe. Okay, order list, maybe. So display a selected item from a list as well. You can do that. Use the do loop for next segment to iterate through a loop. So this one is actually this tool. Terminate a loop with the exit segment. These two are actually for the while loop, do while loop, for loop, same concept. So you want to do a pre-test or you want to do a post-test, depends on the situations. Okay. So skip to the next iterations of a loop by using the continue statement. If you want to skip to the next loop, just put the continue keyword. Okay, so that's all for this chapter. All about list box, combo box, and the loop. Questions?
Sorry, the select all to what again?
Select all.
Yeah.
Select all is only to use to select the entry, whatsoever entry that you put into the text box.
So
Entry, your key in. Key in. User key in here. So which means that it will select all the content that happen inside this text box later on. In this case, for example, the text box name, txt name, if you put the select all, it will get whatsoever contents that display or key in there. So faster lah.
Okay.
But yeah. Okay, any other questions?
So far, no.
So far, no, huh? Okay. How about your assignment? Have you all started to create something already, design something already, planning for something already for this, for the forms that you're going to have?
Just one form.
Just one form?
Oh, yeah.
Basically, you should have a main form for the user to enter to another submodule to another form lah. And that particular form, submodule form, you can do the add, insert, update, delete, or generate report. Or you want to collect all the generate report into another form. It's up to you. But if you say one whole thing, you only have one form, cannot be, huh? Okay, one whole system cannot be only one form, huh? Okay, you have one form, main form, you have this menu, you have file, you have edit, view, all these things have on your main form, then okay. But this main form should bring your user to another form whenever they select different module. Okay. The concept is okay, you all understand what you all need to do. Maybe next week I want to check something, see whether your progressions on this assignment, some progressions. Okay, have you all checked through the proposal?
Yeah.
Yes. Then any comment, any questions on the based on the comment?
I just look through and scan through.
Scan through, you must do your come up with the update versions for your final report. Okay, you don't give me the same thing for your final report. If you give me the same thing, your comment will be the same. Huh? Let me see. Because that day I was in the office, I managed to print out and mark it. That would be faster. Otherwise, my eyes cannot function already. I can see the mosquitoes already. Too much screen, too often. Every day on screen. Okay. So you have finalized your modules already. That's not the sales staff modules, right? Let me stop presenting first. And hold on, let me present. Oops, for this one, I don't have the. Okay, never mind. You can refer to the mark proposal. This one is actually your mark proposal soft copy is somewhere in my email. But now I'm just open up what you had proposed last time. Let me check whether I put it. So slow. Make sure you open up your own proposal, the one that already marked. You have that with you, Noel, on your screen, on your desktop now or laptop now. If you have, maybe you can present it. Can you present it?
No. Okay.
Yeah. Because it takes time for me to search now. Okay, you present first, So we go through one by one so that you don't miss out. those important things that you need to do adjustment or improvement. I hope all of you already glanced through at least lah. Okay. Yeah, for your structure chart. Yeah, that's the one, the first one. Your structure chart here. It's quite simple here, but you know what is that? Ticketing module, bus operator, route module, sales staff module. The one that I put members day. Yeah, that's the one.
The member
Okay.
refer to the user or the customer.
Member should be the customer. Member should be the customer. Based on what you have here, in the descriptions, add new member, view member, all member informations, whether they subscribe to what kind of membership. Seems like you are talking about a member. Your sales staff module day, I believe you need to change it to user login. Add in user login. This one I forgot to write it down.
Oh yeah, that's this one.
Yeah, user login. Forget user login. Because different staff, they may have different login day. So to authenticate and give different kind of authorizations for different type of user. Consider. Okay. So you miss out one module there, the user login. Add in. Yeah, the sales staff change to member module. And for this part, ERD, this one is actually for your own reference only lah. No need to put the ERD inside this report. Final report. Remove this. Okay. But you can always refer this for your database later on. Database part, when we are actually dealing with, after we have played around with the, no need. Yeah. Parent on it. When we deal with the applications with the database, okay, later on you need to create the data. You need to create the database later on. So you can refer to your own ERD here, but I believe you need to check through again whether the attributes that you have inside every single entity here is actually enough or not, correct or not, enough for you to generate kind of report or not. You double check again your own ERD here. Okay. Okay, to the next page, Noel. Just some typo lah, and then no space lah. Okay, check through the typo for the paragraph there. Then your detailed functional modules descriptions part 3. Scroll down a bit. Yeah. So this one, for this one, for the ticket. Yeah, mostly you have the data that is going to be recorded into your database later on. Okay. So add in based on my comment there, when the schedule need to tell the sales staff, the customer need to tell the sales staff to which city they want to go and how many adults and children will get in the bus, onto the bus. What date and time lah. Okay, you add in this info on the add new ticket. View, search, and delete if you have. That will be fine. The next page, update. If there was a mistake in the ticket order, the user can directly update the ticket information without actually deleting it. Such as, you give an example, give a situation, say, okay, because your your sentence here is too general, not detailed. Okay. So for the sales report, this is the part. Okay. So this module allowing generating a report with an organized format. Each report will be separated by each year, but you never mention what kind of report. And also month for which month or year. This one you add in, but you have to come up with only sales report for this. Any other reports like number of tickets sold, this and that?
Not
If you
included-
have,
not included in the sales report.
sales report can be so many different types. So you only have one sales report lah, with different months and years. Details report, is it a detail report or summary report?
Still thinking about it.
You think about it. So for this sales report, it should be to be logic. That will be the transactional, the transactional report and also the summary. Both can be. Make sure different type of report, different content inside your report. Okay.
For Python, one module, only one report.
Not necessary, not necessary.
Okay.
Yeah, not necessary, You should have, you can have more than one report. Make sure that's a meaningful report lah. Okay, still remember the report that I asked you to think of for your database course last semester? See, you only use out one entity. And from there, how many reports you can come up with already? 5, you need to come up with 5. But suppose all these reports, actually you can come across the different entities by using the query that you have learned in what we call that, the database course. But for this course, just simple one. Just simple one. No need to go to different entities first. Okay. So for the next one, bus operator module, you must list down some useful data to be recorded here. Since you only mentioned new bus operator being hired into the company, the sales administrator can add a new record into the system. What kind of data are you going to add into the system for this bus operator module? Like ID, name, telephone number, contact number, address, this and that. You list down now. Okay? Yeah. You mentioned under search and view bus operator information. You mentioned that if a user wants to search a specific bus operator, they can search either searching by name, route operated, or by bus operator ID. So the route operated here, it means that you have a fixed route operated by a fixed bus operator? This is what you're going to do or not? It's not that clear in this part.
Can if like fix.
Can, but
No.
you give example to make it more detailed. So later on for the data the records that you have, make sure you have like destinations A to the destinations B and destinations B back to A. Always the same bus operator, the same person. You don't have different route or the same route and end up in a different schedule. You have different bus operator ID. Make sure you be careful.
What is this again?
Because when you mention this, can you hear me?
Oh, no, I mean this one. Okay. What? This
Uh,
one?
which means
Oh.
fixed route operated by a bus operator. That's my question.
Oh.
So you have to decide, no? If you say yes, if that's a route operated, it give me a meaning that you have destinations A to B is actually by bus operator 1, 2, 3, and B back to A is 1, 2, 3 again. Then for this, for every schedule that you have the same bus operator ID. So later on, when you create the record for these destinations A to B, you don't give me different bus operator ID, no? You need to be careful when you create the record, lah. Oh, clear?
Okay.
The report generations part. Again, this module will generate an organized report regarding the bus operator, such as what? You didn't mention it. You only mentioned it will come out with report, that's it, for bus operator, but on what, I don't know. Huh? For your final report, maybe by the time you have idea already, put in. Otherwise, it's not so-called detailed functional module description. Okay? Put in more detail then. And add new route, again, the same thing. Data to be recorded. What are the data for the route? Info or date. Maybe destinations A to B, destination C to D, new route. Okay. Since you did mention on the sales staff and sales administrator, your user also make sure you have different privilege later on. This one I'll talk about it in that one when we deal with the user login module. Yeah, the number 4, go for number 4, member module. So you mentioned sales staff modules in the structure chart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So make sure you change your structure chart to member module.
No.
So the add new staff, a new member. Add new record into. The staff need to obtain the customer name, phone number, and the email. So how about a different membership type? Because you did mention different account based on the different membership type in your descriptions of system part 2. Your page 2. Okay. Your page 2, you go back to your page 2. Yeah, this part. Yeah, the last paragraph. You see, if a customer happens to be a membership holder within the system, the last part, they're eligible for the discount depending on the membership. So which means that you're going to collect different membership type in this page under member module. Page 1, 2, 3, 4. Page 4. In your final report, please put page number easy for me to mention which page. Okay. Yeah. So you didn't mention on the different membership. So membership expiry and renew membership. So there is no report on this membership. I'm not sure whether that's really no report generations on the membership. So I forgot to put in also. Membership module, do you have any report generations on that?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, please add in. Add in. Okay, bus module, again the same thing. Bus module, every module, make sure you have for the add new something, add new bus operator, IDS, add new route, you make sure put in some data to be recorded. What kind of data that you're going to be recorded into the system later on? Okay. View bus, update bus, and one is just a minor lah. The terms that we use.
Oh, this
Add
one.
new schedule also. Add new schedule. Schedule module. Data to be recorded. Also make sure you put in some relevant data for this new schedule. What kind of schedule data that you're going to be recorded? You're going to record into this schedule table later on in the database. Yes?
It's obsolete. Why?
Obsolete.
Write
Normally for this item we call it as write off. It's only the terms.
Oh, right off.
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
The terms, only the terms being used is a bit not into that standard.
Okay.
Obsolete can be the cost obsolete, but for the item, for the bus, big item like that, the computer normally we use write off. Yeah, user login module. Please go to your user login module. That will be your staff, sales staff or sales administrator. So make sure you have this type of data inside it to differentiate different authorizations. Okay. So you mentioned the sales administrator can add a new user record into the staff table so that a new user can log into the system and carry on their work. So make sure from your data later on for this user login module, you have the record for the normal sales staff and also sales administrator. Okay, that's the last part. I think, yeah, the rest okay already. Any questions, anything, any comments that you still not clear with it? Maybe
Means this authorization.
is this
Like
one? Yeah.
they can access certain form like that.
Because if you have these different authorizations, normally for the sales staff, they can only do what? What are the restrictions? They can only view what kind of form, or they can only operate or deal with add new. They can add new what? They can they delete the schedule maybe? Can they delete the something? Member maybe? So if no, when I'm actually logged in as a sales staff, I can't do delete a member maybe. If you have a submodule on that. Okay. So if I log in using sales administrator, I can do everything. Something like that. Huh? Okay, yeah. So make sure, because when you talk about the authorizations, it's on the different privilege already. Okay. Different privilege to sales staff, to sales administrator, or maybe you have any manager inside. Your user login module, you have any form manager. So you should adjust your form. When I key in, when I log in as a sales staff, some of the form is not displayed when a sales staff is logged in. And when I log in as a sales administrator or the manager maybe, what I can do, what else more form can be shown, will be shown later for module, for different module, for module schedule, for module, what we call that, the extra route. Maybe you are not allowed your sales staff to add a new route, then only sales administrator to add it. When I log in as a sales administrator, I can see that form or that particular functions. Maybe some of the functions, submodule, you have to you have to off the enable property. You have to do some setting at the property windows there. Okay. Different authorizations, different privilege for different user login. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Any other questions you want to ask regarding this proposal?
So far, no.
So far, no. So far, no. Please show me something on this assignment, design, maybe your planning wise, what are the form, maybe if you haven't really created using the form, using the Visual Studio VB.NET, you can just hand drawn it, it's okay. At least you have something to show me your progressions on this assignment, what you're going to do after this. Because now it's already week 7, even though you still have so many weeks, but time flies so fast. Okay, don't come out with last minute work. Okay. So at least you show me something on what you have discussed among you all, and then you show me on your own modules first, maybe. Okay.
No, sure now. Sure,
Yes.
the VB,
Pardon, I can't hear you.
the Visual Basic.
The VB.NET, if you already straight away design there, it's okay. Because always we need to have a good planning first, then we start. If you straight away do something at the VB environment there, maybe you have changes later on, then start a job. So maybe you have a draft first, a draft first.
No,
Okay.
because haven't planned yet.
That's why you must plan now.
Okay.
It's not saying that last minute only you plan, then last minute only you create, design this and that, coding this and that. I can tell you a lot of how we call that, errors may come up, a lot of miscommunications may come out. Maybe it's not standardized with among all the modules that you have. A lot of mistakes. Suppose you can come out with better jobs, but end up you just come up with some other job. No lah. Okay. Have a proper planning lah.
No.
Yeah. So any other questions? If no, as usual, Thursday we will go for the practical part. Practical, this will be practical 7 this week. And I hope you have done already with your practical 6. Have you all done with practical 6 or still working with your practical 6? Can you update me your practical?
My practical 5 is still not finished.
Seems like stuck somewhere.
Yeah, I just tried. I couldn't do the error checking.
Okay. Did you ask your friends here?
No.
No. Kevin, please answer. Okay. Yeah, even though you have small numbers here, but we still can ask each other. Okay, still can ask each other. Farah also working on this practical 5. Okay. Yeah, you try to ask, and then if you cannot solve it, then Thursday we will talk about it. We will discuss on that lah. Okay, Kelvin and Farah. Yeah, Nobel, I believe you have done already practical 6. You share with me already, but I have no time. I haven't have time to have a chance to open up. You submit until practical 6, right, Noel?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Good. So, yeah, you try your best to For Kelvin and Farrell, try your best to check back, to refer to your notes, to your demo file, especially demo file. Okay, and then you always connect with the MSDN website. MSDN, a lot of useful. Yes, this is your chapter 1. This is mentioned in your chapter 1. A lot of help from this MSDN, because that's a Microsoft product, VB.NET. Okay, yeah, you can see, you can find out some info on the Q&A, info on some questions they posted there, whether it's applicable to yours or not. Okay, so if you have no questions, then I will see you all on Thursday. Okay,
Okay.
any other questions? No?
No.
Yeah, no, then I'll see you then on Thursday. Bye bye.
Okay. Thank you, miss.
Thank you. Bye.